So we said that a person forces a person out of the sukkah and sits in the sukkah without permission, yotze. You steal material, you build a sukkah, also yotze, b'di'evet. Aval gozel sukkah asuya b'rosh hasvino b'rosh hagolo v'yoshev bo. Person has a sukkah back of a wagon. He steals the wagon with the sukkah, or on a boat, and you steal it. Lo yotze, you're not yotze, because you're actually stealing. You're stealing it's an object. Hagov hu adin im Ruvain bought a sukkah b'karka Shimon. What if Ruvain builds a sukkah on somebody else's property? V'Shimon tokaf es Ruvain. V'gosel sukkos habenuya b'karka shelo. This is interesting. Ruvain builds a sukkah on Shimon's property without permission. Shimon, the landowner, drives Ruvain out of the sukkah, and he sits in his sukkah. The Ruvain sukkah built the sukkah without permission. Lo yotzebo. You're not yotze. Why? But it's karka. I mean, although Ruvain had no right to build it on Shimon's property, but now that he built it on Shimon's property, it's karka. Karka ain't zealous, right? The answer is because it's his possession. Because here, the sukkah, because the whole idea of you can't steal property, because the property is still in the reshus of the rightful owner, right? So yeah, even though I may dispossess you, but the property is still yours. Here, the sukkah isn't somebody else's property. Now I force the person who built the sukkah without permission and not in his property, I force him out. So in whose property is that sukkah? The property owners. So that you've stolen. Ve'inkan takonas hashovim. What about takonas hashovim? We discussed that the person steals material, builds a structure, even though you're able to dismantle it. There's a rabbinic enactment because we want to encourage a person to do tshuva. So if he has to dismantle it, he's not do tshuva, so they say, you know something, based on the principle hefker bezin hefker, we see it as yours. But over here, the man who drove the man out of the sukkah, he didn't make any effort here, right? The other person built it. So therefore, we don't say the sukkah is considered yours. Lohotzi or lehotzos. He didn't toil for it, and there were no expenditures. Maybe there would be a cost factor. Because if you dismantle it, now what's the vital material? Okay, let's see. Aval gozel sukkah, Zayin, dosi atzman igzelis, shem nemchuber kaka, if it's on the back of a wagon or a ship. Beino of the hachzid domi el kamoshi benuya, return the sukkah, return the boat with the sukkah on the deck, return the wagon with the sukkah. Then kan takoros hasham shei lo tor chalel lifnoso v'lo hotzi oleh otzos hilkol gzuli. Okay, lo yotzo. It has to be yours. Lemute gzula, to exclude the sukkah that's stolen. Lo havi locho, it's not yours. Umashme divrei Amogan Avrom. Da'af acherim sheyoshua gamkin lo yotzu yidei chovosam. If a Mogram says, let's say a third party, not the one who drove him out, he sits in the sukkah. It's not. Lo havi locho. Mogram says, you're not yotze. The nice died you tzorchim b'zeh. V'ayim ber alocha, because it's not simple. The one who stole it, he's a thief. Mitzvah bo b'aveira. But what about a third party? Why? It's seemingly it's a sukkah shula, right? There's a principle known, you know, for a third party. Yotze with his sukkah shula, with a borrowed sukkah. We said you can use somebody else's sukkah even without his permission, as long as you're not invading his privacy, not infringing on his usage. So over here, the third party, when he uses it, it's no worse. He didn't steal it, right? So either way, he should be yotze. So he says it's not simple. What the Mogen Avram says, that just as the thief is not yotze, a third party is also not yotze. For a second. Take a look. Bottom Be'alocha. Lo yotze. I'm Mishna Berura Succos. Daf acherim sheyoshu b'gamkin lo yotze. Not only is the thief not yotze, the sukkah on the wagon or the boat, divrei machzeh shekel shemedai gzeh Mogen Avram mashakosov ayin reishim mitofreish memtes. The Machzeh Shekel was the commentary on the Mogen Avram. He deduces this Mogen Avram. Mogen Avram does not say explicitly that a third party is not Yotze, but that's the understanding of the Machzeh Shekel in the Mogen Avram. Lani's daiti ein zebori. He says it's not clear. It's not clear from the way he understands Mogen Avram. That's actually what the Mogen Avram is saying. Dosu beluv the kosu Torah lochem, binu lochem mamish. shelo be'etzem, the posla afilu show where this you have to actually own it, and a borrowed lulav is not sufficient. Lakachem echot gozel luv nos l'chaveru lo tzisbo after l'chaveru lo gozelo mikolkom ene yotze al kaponim lo shelo lo odav mishol. It's not better than a borrowed lulav. Deni yotze biyom rishon shemesukad lo oser Torah ragozel lo shol. K'diisa b'gmora v'chiniv shulchan aruch siv beis efshir d'zagam yotze lo enu miskabel gozlo, the one who's using the sukkah that was stolen. Does he want to steal it from the rightful owner? He has no interest. He just wants to use it to be yotze the mitzvah. Gamesh das balabayis laharshus lo acher sheif sukkos. Even the owner wouldn't mind using the sukkah. Then echle linish eleventh mitzvah b'mamone v'chlo shaych hatam hanem Mishna Berura Succos sorchiun. Masher robaz amogravrom lain reishim torfeshim tainu the osad kain lefnei yush bein laachi yush. Kmo hosam Kosovo the gabi sukkah avri kmo lulav. Okay, what do you want to say, Howard?
The question of violence. So if I steal something, I'm stealing something physically, right? When the carca is still there, I'm taking away the man's control. Is that correct? Am I seeing this right? Is that why it's hard to say that I've stolen the sukkah? I've taken his violence away, his control over it, but I didn't steal it physically.
Taking control away is not stealing. That's not stealing.
That's what you're saying.
You have to take the object out of the domain of the rightful owner.
So
that's stealing.
So if somebody is thrown out of his sukkah, the sukkah is his. I've just taken away his violence, but it's
not his violence, his usage.
His usage.
Right. I'm denying him the usage. Howard speaks in very lumdisher terms. Okay? You record it, and you send it out. Okay? Okay, let's see the Mishra. Lo nit lo yotzabo. Lo damil diskaleo sib gimel. We're speaking about a case, the Ramo. Ruvain built a sukkah without permission on Shimon's property. Now Shimon goes and drives Ruvain out of the sukkah, which is his property. Before we're speaking, Ruvain builds a sukkah on his property. Now I force Ruvain out of his sukkah. So the sukkah is still in Ruvain's domain. So I'm not a thief. But in our case, Shimon did something which he shouldn't have done, illegal. He built a sukkah on Shimon's property. So he's not stealing the property. It's the sukkah he's stealing. By forcing him out, because the sukkah is in his possession. Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's irrelevant. Yush. But he's a thief. The one who causes yush cannot benefit from the yush. Right? If a person steals some, then the owner despairs. The one who stole him, he still has to return it. Because the obligation to return preceded the despair. Right? It's irrelevant what happens afterwards. For the thief, I'm talking for the thief. For the third party, it's a different story. Right? Third party not to be yotzi, can be yotzi after yush. That's like we had before. That's the yush and shinu rishus. Same idea. Okay, let's see. Tofreish lamet ches. Sukkah v'noyo asur kol shiva. You know the concept of muktzah. Muktzah we're always accustomed has to do with Shabbos and Yom Tov. But we have a concept known as huktzah l'mitzvah, something that's been designated for a mitzvah. It cannot be used for anything else. During the period of time it's designated for a mitzvah. So normally, a person goes chol hamoed, laws of muktzah have no application. People always make mistakes. You know that if one of the decorations falls off the sukkah, they won't touch it on chol hamoed. They say it's muktzah. Doesn't mean that muktzah. Muktzah of touching, that you're not permitted to touch something which is muktzah. The Gemara tells us in Shabbos, because it's a fence for hotzah, because you may transport. That's the reason why you're not permitted to touch muktzah. That's why something which is physically cannot be moved has no relevance to muktzah. A person wants to sit on a car on Shabbos or Yom Tov, you're permitted, because the car cannot be moved. By sitting on it, there's no concern. By sitting, you may move it. You can't move it. It's not movable. So it has no relevance to transporting. So if the issue is transporting, it has no relevance to Chol HaMoed. So it's limited to Shabbos and Yom Tov. Because even Yom Tov, there's certain transporting you're not permitted to. Because you have to have Ochel Nefesh. Has to be connected to Ochel Nefesh. Has to be food related. If it's not food related, it's a Torah violation. A person wants to transport from one shish to another, Yom Tov l'chol, for after Yom Tov. You're not permitted. It's a Torah violation. Right? Chol HaMoed. You're not permitted. So the muktzah we're talking about, you're permitted to pick up decoration and to reattach it to Chol HaMoed. It means that once it was designated as a decoration for the sukkah, to beautify the sukkah, it cannot be used for anything else until after sukkahs. Because it's designated for mitzvah use. And therefore cannot be used for an ordinary usage. Whatever it may be. You want to take the picture and you want to hang it in your living room now. You can't during sukkahs. It's designated for the sukkah, this decoration. Sukkah v'noyo asurun kol shiva. Atzei sukkah. What? We have the Mishnah, the Gemara says, it's a Mishnah, it's a machlokes in the Gemara, in Sukkah. What about a person goes and designates esrogim, right? We have a Bahya, esrogim. Am I permitted? You designate an esrog, now it's on the 7th day of Yom Tov. You already be able to esrog. You eat the esrog on the 7th day, on Hoshana Rabbah. Right? You want to take the esrog, make it into jam. And to eat the jam on Hoshana Rabbah. You're not permitted. Right? Why? Because it was designated for the what? For the mitzvah. You could. Which means there's not a problem. It's different. No, it has no relevance. Yeah, because there's a question of if you designate 7 esrogim for 7 days, once the day's over, could you use it the next day? It's machlokes in the Gemara. I think Rava and Abaye.
You can't eat an esrog on Hoshana Rabbah?
No, because it's designated for the mitzvah on that day. Till the day's over, you're not permitted to use the esrog. What? It's a machlokes. We paskin that, what do we call it? Paskin. We'll get to Dalit meeting. I think we rule that you can't. If there's a separate esrog per day, that once the day's over, you could use the esrog. Atzi sukkah asurum kol shmonos mi achag. Let's say the Mishnah speaks about a case. A person wants to take a splinter off the wall of the sukkah and to use it as a toothpick. Is he permitted? On Yom Tov, he's not permitted because it's soser. You're dismantling the sukkah, right? But a Chol HaMoed, you're permitted. So the halacha is you're not permitted. Because since the material of the sukkah is designated as the sukkah, it's a question, it's this Doraisa, this famous Oneg Yom Tov. Over there, the Gemara says Chag HaSukkos. So the Gemara says that the Torah associates the sukkah with Chagiga. Just as Chagiga, Chal Shem Shemayim Olel, it takes on a consecrated status. So therefore, the sukkah also has Kedushas Chagiga. It's Doraisa. It's not an Istrabana, because usually the concept of Uktzil Miktzah, that's purely rabbinic. It's a disrespect. Here, the Gemara says Chal Shem Shemayim Sukkah. It has Kedushas Chagiga. This is a famous word from the Oneg Yom Tov, David. If you want to sound like a real Talmud Chacham. So the Oneg Yom Tov says a Chiddush. The halacha is, mitzvah, you're not permitted to be in the sukkah if you're in a state of discomfort. So if it's raining, one has to go out of the sukkah. If it's very hot, you have to go out of the sukkah. The person says, I want to be machmir, I will stay. Besides, he's doing the wrong thing. Oneg Yom Tov says you're a violation of Doraisa. Because the Torah says you're only permitted to be in a sukkah for the sake of the sukkah, for the sake of the mitzvah. But factually, the walls have kedushas chagiga. It's only within the context of fulfilling the mitzvah are you permitted to be there. But if it's stars potim in a sukkah, you're not permitted to be there. So if you're not permitted to be there and you remain in the sukkah, so whatever benefit you have, it protects you to a greater degree. It's nisdoraisa. It's benefiting from something that's consecrated. You're not permitted to benefit from something consecrated. That's his chidush. That's the chidush of the only Yom Tov.
But that doesn't apply on the first day.
Because there the obligation is up to a kazayas. Tira kazayas. Up to a kazayas.
That is set aside.
Right, and then once you you have to leave.
He would agree to that.
He would agree. He would agree, definitely. I mean, the halacha is even in the star, you're not permitted to be there. The Ramos says later, your person's called a fool. You're a fool. It's you considered a shote. First, you're considered like a fool. What are you remaining there? The Gemara says it's consecrated. Nobody argues on that. Nobody argues. It has kedushas chagiga. No, it's based on the pasuk because it's chag sukkos. That the sukkah is like chagiga. Tosis in Sukkah speaks about a case. Tosis Beya. Sukkah collapses. Are you permitted to benefit? It's two different things. Chagiga, that's only if it functions as a sukkah. Once it collapses, it's no longer a sukkah. So then the halacha is then you're permitted. There's a question which there's a Rashba. He has a sefer on Beya. It's called Avodas HaKodesh. He asks a question: what's the halacha if you consecrate an animal? And he said, I want the animal to be consecrated for 1 day. It should be a shlom for 1 day. What happens after the day passes? Is it still consecrated? So the halacha is, we say kedusha l'poch. Once the kedusha attaches itself, it's not revoked. Forever. It's a korban. Right? You say it should be an ola, whatever you say it should be, even though you put a time limit on, once it attaches up, it cannot be removed. So he asks a question. The halacha is after sukkah, everybody agrees that the wood of the walls of the sukkah no longer have kedusha. But if factually, halachically, it's kedusha as chagiga, it has the same sanctity as a chagiga, so why after 7 days does it lose its kedusha status? We say kedusha l'poka b'chni. We say the kedusha should not be revoked. Once it attaches, it remains there. That's his question. And what's interesting, he doesn't answer the question. He leaves it unanswered. So Merushiv Zechariah Baruch always used to answer. The question is not. You have to understand why the question is a question. Why he doesn't answer this, because it's seemingly an easy answer, simple answer. After sukkahs, it's not called a sukkah. You understand? If let's say you have an animal, and then it should die. It has no relevance to kedusha any longer. Once sukkah passes, it's not called a sukkah. Sukkah doesn't mean a hut. Sukkah means something which functions within the context of the mitzvah. Once sukkah is over, it's not an object of mitzvah any longer. So if that's the case, it's as if the sukkah doesn't exist. If the sukkah doesn't exist, what's the kedusha upon? The kedusha has to be attached to something. There's no kedusha any longer. When? After sukkahs? Why can't I dismantle? It's not a sukkah any longer. No. Again, it's not called sukkah. It's called hut. It's a hut after sukkahs. That's the reason why you can dismantle it. And that's why you can do whatever you want in there. Okay, let's see the Chovos HaLevavos.
How does it lose its kedusha? It's consecrated stance.
No, because it's only a sukkah has kedusha.
No, but now you dismantle it.
No, not on Yom Tov. Yom Tov is over now.
How does it lose it then?
Because it's not a sukkah. Only sukkah has kedusha. Sukkah means it's a mitzvah object. After sukkah, it's no longer a mitzvah.
Once an object has this kedusha...
No, because it's still a korban. An animal's an animal which you could sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Always. But now it's no longer that. It's no longer the object.
Usually something has to happen for something to lose its kedusha. You have to transfer the kedusha somehow.
Of course, it always has relevance to something else. A sukkah, once sukkah is over, that kedusha has no relevance to anything. What are you going to transfer it? See, an animal becomes blemished, a balmum, you transfer it and you can transfer it onto it. So that kedusha is always viable kedusha. The kedusha related to a sukkah, it's something, it may have a similar, the same kedusha as the korban, but has no relevance to anything else. Therefore, once sukkah is over, it ends.
When there's a tsar in the sukkah, if it's hard for you to sit in the sukkah, is it possible to sit in the sukkah?
Well, the Rama says it's also. You're not permitted.
It's also.
Yeah, but the question is it because you're a fool?
Is what?
You're a fool. It's because you're a fool. There's no reason to sit there. What are you sitting there for? To do something that you're not obligated. It's not an enim Chovos. Mitzdayer, if you're in a state of pain, you're not supposed to be there. So what are you trying to prove? Well, I'll do it in either way. So what are you doing? You're doing nothing.
Because you love doing the mitzvah.
But it's not a mitzvah. That's it. You're not doing a mitzvah. You want to call the mitzvah, which is not a mitzvah. This man he's glowing that he thinks he's doing a mitzvah. It's not mitzvah, No, because that was not for sukkah. That was for achnos orchid. That's the story. That's where it was a sukkah. For the other person, it's a sukkah. For the older person, it wasn't a sukkah. That story I never told. Never told the story of Moshe. I told the story from Chaim Ozer. What story from Moshe? Let's hear it. Yeah, baby, in the heavy coat, he wasn't stated discomfort. First thing, remember, it was Mistari, he wouldn't be there, Moshe. Guarantee you. It's like you tell me, Rav Moshe finds ate a McDonald's burger. It's the same thing. There's no way he ate a McDonald's. There's no way he would stay in the sukkah if he was mitzdayer. Because it's contrary to the halacha. Impossible. Well, they say, for other people, unless they have 60 zones air conditioning in the sukkah, they can't stay in the sukkah. That's the way it is. Firstly, you realize Rav Moshe came from Russia. So what his standard was, what other people's standards are, what's called mitzdayer, what's called discomfort.